All right, we are still going. You might think it's over, that we've just completed the game, Angel of Darkness, on the DVD, but we've got some post-game fun for you. This week, we're going to be taking a laid-back look back on our Angel of Darkness DVD adventure. Chilling in the background there is my partner in crime, Nick. We will be going over some of our top picks of all the spotlights we have shone on different Tomb Raider creators and fan projects this season, and some of our top questions of the weeks. Then we'll have a spotlight where we will take another look at Steve of Warr, one of our favourite Tomb Raider creators, his retrospective on the Angel of Darkness, see what he made of the story and the game. And our question of the week this week is, what has been your highlight of the season? So we'll be doing both highlight and a low light as the question of the week at the end of the show. And if you have a favourite moment from the season, let us know what it was down in the comments. Cool. So it seems to me like it's been quite a long time since we started this adventure in the Parisian back streets.
Been missing our Tomb Raider evenings now, obviously. Chronicles Race to the End series sadly came to an end. But to cheer us up, I have got hold of the most underrated, probably because it's not rated, DVD game. So I propose that we run through this together.
Okay. A DVD game.
No console needed. If you grab yourself a copy, hang on. Let's do it.
I wanted to ask you, Nick, do you remember your full start?
Full start. So that was... I can remember the bit where we're climbing up the stairs at the beginning, but no, what happened?
Do you want to watch it? Let's do it, shall we? New game, let's go.
3, 2, 1, go! Oh.
How many teams?
Oh. 3, 2, 1. Go with how many teams? How many? 1, 3, 2, 1. Next thing. What's your difficulty?
Well, talking of that, this being the game for everyone, there certainly have been a lot of instances where the game just does it for you.
Might be a place to start. I'll go and see Mademoiselle Carvier at the address he gave me.
Doing the platforming for you.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking, this is weird. I feel like I should be doing this. It really feels weird not playing, like climbing the ladder. Oh wow, I feel like this is probably like an hour's worth of gameplay that we've just seen in 5 seconds. Oh, I hope we get to do this puzzle and it doesn't just do it for you automatically.
Well, it's weird not playing, isn't it?
I think that fight was probably going to be more difficult in the actual game.
How did this game compare to your expectations? If you cast your mind back, we thought it would be a quick time event heavy sort of thing.
Well, I know what we're going to do.
We're going to go for it, aren't we?
We're going to go for it, and we might have to do quick inputs. And by quick, I mean not that quick.
I wondered if it would be like 24 or Atmosphere, the video board game sort of things.
Yeah, I mean, the 24 game that I mentioned in a previous episode was the clunkiest thing ever. It was worse than this one. So in that way, this was enjoyable.
In comparison. Yeah.
I do think the puzzles definitely could have been more challenging, more of a puzzle, even with TV remote buttons, a little maze or some sort of like point and click. But generally, I think it's a fairly good way to live out Angel of Darkness, especially as the actual game is quite glitchy. That this experience is probably even a little bit more rounded than that, perhaps.
Yeah. Well, there was certainly a lot of confusion at times. Insert clip here.
But I thought the box was hidden by Bouchard.
Oh, I don't know. He didn't say it.
I wasn't able to follow that so easily.
No.
This is the most simple game ever, and we're getting confused, like trying to play it at the same time.
I must have skipped something.
Yeah. Isn't it weird how like she's trying to find out who murdered Von Croy, and she's a suspect, and in trying to clear her name, she goes and just shoots innocent workers.
I feel like we could have had more narrations to help sort of stitch that narrative story together. Like there was a piece at the start which sort of did that with just text rolling down the screen.
An old friend and colleague has asked Lara for help. Werner von Croy is tracking 5 obscura paintings for a client named Eckhart, a client who appears increasingly dangerous.
There could have been more of that for me to have stayed engaged and known where we were, who we were with, why we were going places.
Yeah, definitely agree with that.
I still don't understand the point scoring system though, do you?
No, I think it does feel quite random, and there were points, no pun intended, in the game where we would get a point when we'd done something that was wrong, dead end, or not failing a quick time or a jump, but going the wrong way actually rewarded you, a bit like, I guess, Secrets, kind of discovering it all. But when you have no clue as to which is the right way, that doesn't seem to really make sense.
So yeah, it's been challenging in places, but there have also been a lot of highlights.
That was a pretty cool level.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably one of the best ones in terms of interaction. Bit of a puzzle. First proper puzzle, I'd say.
Yeah. Still the game for everyone there.
I mean, there wasn't many options, was there?
Which is in some cool cinematic shots.
Ooh. I do like I know you said it in a couple of episodes ago, but the way the screen kind of goes into blocks and kind of forwards time by jumping to the next scene.
It's a kind of smart way of cutting through, so you get the feel of what's happening, but it goes a bit quicker than if you were to be perhaps playing it yourself. So it streamlines it. It's a bit more cinematic too, I think.
Danced in the Louvre galleries and the Serpent Rouge.
It's flashing or not flashing?
And it is flashing yellow.
Okay.
So this is the famous Serpent Rouge. Now to find Bernard's box.
Yeah, we've got the box right here, Lara.
Yeah. Where's the big fish and the small fish?
And we've had a whole bunch of laughs.
Yeah, I suppose boulder traps might fall under that category.
You're on a roll.
Oh, very good. That was it.
We can't even go through the open door now.
That was so pathetic when she died. To me, it looks like the nearest laser is going right through her buttocks.
It does look like that, but I think that's perception.
You want to jump?
I think it's jump because it's on the floor. It's lower down, isn't it? So
Right, let's do a jump.
Right.
Well, that doesn't make sense.
I wear my sunglasses at night.
Brilliant.
You have to get rid of your family to have those riches.
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay, so number 5.
I'd love to see that. That would be great. That's kind of nice.
Oh!
You say you don't remember clearly what happened. Perhaps the police are right.
I thought this would be a good opportunity to go over the spotlights and questions we've answered this season, and then just come up with a few of our sort of top picks. So I'll get a list of all the spotlights up and go through them, and we'll shout out our favourite ones, eh? So this season we've spotlighted Trey, the anniversary edition. We've had a spotlight on Jason Chester's low poly renders, the Angel of Darkness audio book, that Norse chick, Badass Games walkthroughs, Inktober artists, Tomb Raider Temple of Osiris and the Guardian of Light, Lara Croft Go. It goes on and on. We've done stuff on the Netflix anime, Unification of Timelines, Beck Williams, Chronicles animation. We've spotlighted the Music of Tomb Raider website, Retro Hour interviews, Raidercast talk through series, Ligu's Crazy Music channel, Dev's Reactor Rise speedrun. Wow, so many weird facts, AVGN, Clove speedrunning, Minecraft Tomb Raider, just so many. If you had to like pick a few of those, what would you say stood out to you?
To me, obviously, any game-related ones are of interest.
Yeah, because you did
quite a lot.
Like basically some reviews of the sort of run and gun Lara Crofts.
So this week it's a spin-off game that the developers have made from Tomb Raider series, and it is the isometric couple of games, Guardian of Light and Temple of Osiris. So Guardian of Light is the first one. I think it was released on PS3, and it's isometric, so kind of diagonal view on. It works really well with Tomb Raider games. So left stick is move, right stick is aim. So you can kind of walk this way and aim backwards, and it's just so fluid. And then you've got shoulder buttons or whatever for shooting. Temple of Osiris came second, and they kind of developed it a little bit more. The puzzles got a little bit more complex, and you got a second character, or 2 second characters, so a second and third character. So you can play as Osiris or Isis, the Egyptian gods, and you can play that couch co-op as well. Yeah, they're great fun, but even the discussion we had around Trey.
It's time for our Tomb Raider Spotlight, and it's a really cool one this week. How would you like a new Tomb Raider game to play, Nick?
Well, I wouldn't say no.
Always room for more Tomb Raider. So the builds have been found for the abandoned Tomb Raider Anniversary. This is the core design Tomb Raider Anniversary Edition, which was an abandoned project after the franchise got taken away from them.
And even like up at the movie in that category, so existing Tomb Raider franchise stuff, but new things on the horizon, which we're still waiting for. Beck Williams loved that, and I didn't know that before you shared it, and it's amazing, really interesting, and a great way to kind of relive the games in such a short period of time.
Yeah. For me, my favourite spotlights are the things that, or the pieces of content that I've used to enhance my enjoyment of playing through like this game or like other Tomb Raider games. So like Music of Tomb Raider website, like when I've been playing through the retro games, just listening to the soundtracks, like whilst working or like on my free time, just helps further immerse me in the game. So I love that. And the Angel of Darkness audiobook by J.R. Milmore, it's just the best.
Who is it?
Mademoiselle Carvier, it's Lara Croft. I need your help. Concise and precise. That's me. Miss Croft, I recognize you from photos and Werner's description. Mademoiselle Carvier, I really have to talk to you. It's important. An evil night to be out alone, Miss Croft. Our streets are not safe anymore. Mademoiselle Carvier, I have just come from Werner's apartment. And how is Werner? I'm afraid Werner is dead.
It is the best way to get into Angel of Darkness, so I can't speak highly enough of that audiobook and what she's done there with that. That would be my top pick for a Tomb Raider spotlight, I think.
I want to see as well, if we're doing a dream spotlight, Summoning Salt take on the history of speedrunning of Tomb Raider.
That would be so good.
I don't know how.
Well, he'd have to use like the community and Tomb Raider forums, I guess. But
I don't know how the history of it's gone though, in terms of has there been lots of overtaking and then new skips found. And I like to watch a speedrun of Tomb Raider every now and again, perhaps while doing something else in the background, just to kind of see the game again and kind of relive it. And I do wonder how much now they're still making kind of progress in those games. It would be interesting if there has been.
I imagine that the paths have split, so there's like a glitched run and there's a non-glitched run. There's different rules around different runs. It's got to be like that, surely.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely have different categories, because there's the glitch that I think everyone did in the game without, back in the day before you had internet, and you just discovered it, where you're in a corner and you're jumping and you suddenly shoot up to the top of a wall. I remember doing that and just being like, what happened here?
It's so cool to watch how speedrunners just manipulate that and use that whilst in motion, and are able to execute that like at will, sort of like by repetition, I suppose they practiced it.
There's a couple of really cool kind of platforming bits on, particularly the ones that jump to mind, the Tomb Raider 2 on the glitchless one, where they're just actually quite difficult grabs, because you think being blocky it's all 3 steps, she jumps this far, but there are subtle differences about when you grab, and you can do the thing where your last step is off the edge that you're jumping from, so that and banana jumps where they kind of start out left and go round. And I can't even remember if you have to do this jump in the game, but there's the one on the Maria de Ria, might have pronounced that wrong, Maria de Ria.
That's right.
Yeah, where there's a massive gap and you have to grab at the last second in order to make it. And there's a few in that speed run. Another one on the deck where it's a slopey jump grab. Yeah. Interesting.
Whenever I've seen people doing these sort of run challenges, that normally, if they're doing number 1, it comes to an end sort of like somewhere in Atlantis. They'll like die and they'll do it. That's where the game sort of steps up a notch and becomes hard for even the best players.
There's I'll have to get the name, but there is a speedrunner who's done like a clips of her basically failing in Atlantis, and she kind of laughs at each one, but I don't know how she doesn't scream and
Did somebody just clip it for her, like, here's all your deaths and your reactions? Yeah,
possibly that's a mini spotlight there, perhaps.
All right, so taking a look back on our questions of the week, we've asked so many questions, had so many long discussions on Tomb Raider now. let's blast through a few of these and maybe pick out some of our favourites. We've had favourite weapon, favourite move, which lunch table are you sitting at? That was a fun one. Favourite enemy, worst enemy, favourite puzzle, worst puzzle, spin-off game category. We've had your Would You Rather quiz. I followed you up with another Tomb Raider Would You Rather quiz. We've had favourite piece of music, favourite costume, what you would do if you invented a cheat code. We've had who would be Lara's ideal date, what's the best Croft manner, what's your favourite swimming section. We've also asked what's the best in-game trophy or collectible secret. We've also asked favourite vehicles. Whew, that's a lot of questions of the week. That's a lot of like Tomb Raider chats we've had that have gone on for many a minute and perhaps an hour.
I know, like you said previously that the spotlights are one of your the favourite section of the episode, but for me I like the question because it's a way to explore the game. You relive memories, thinking back and getting your view on things which I hadn't either considered or just even didn't agree with, but it was interesting to kind of have that conversation. And that was especially like interesting when it was like date for Lara, because you weren't sure what the other person was going to say, what they thought, what lines they were even thinking on. So for that kind of question, that was awesome. There's also a Call of Duty character who I thought would actually be quite a good match for her. John Price. He's a bit older, quite rugged, and no nonsense. But he's also got absolutely zero sense of humour. So I thought that would actually go really well with her like dry, sarcastic, quite British sense of humour. No. And even like the music ones.
I'm ready to say my favourite if you are.
I'm ready.
So for me, my favourite Tomb Raider track is the theme from number 1. It's what I think of when I think of Tomb Raider. Like that intro, it just gets me in the mood and immediately puts me there. So that just holds a special place in my heart. So that's the winner for me.
And for me, it's the same, but with Tomb Raider 2. Same reasons as well. Nostalgia. First game I played, spent a lot of time in it, being young as well, and finding it difficult. So hearing that theme tune so much, and I didn't mention when we were talking through them earlier, but I love at the end, instead of that kind of plucking violin that I mentioned from number 1, it's got like a flute bit, which is replacing that kind of outro. Replacing that kind of outro melody, and I love that bit as well. But yeah, definitely for both of us, nostalgia wins it, and it's just our respective experiences, isn't it? It just sometimes you just don't pick up on a piece, and then when you suggested them, I like listened to them and was like, oh yeah, I've kind of missed out on that, so I could then go back and not miss out on it.
I really like A Long Way Down. A Friend Since Gone. Longing for Home. These like give me that sort of goosebump feel and make me like anticipate and put me back in the game, like put me back in that place, back in that adventure, like imagining like the surroundings and stuff. So I think they're really strong from from that standpoint.
This is definitely something that I did, and now I have actually grown to like the Legend motorbiking theme.
Good.
That was probably my favourite. Like, just the music of Tomb Raider is so good, and it elevates the game. So chatting about it and just being able to just put some of these songs into the episode was just great. Like, I could listen to them all day. So like going back and watching that one again was quite fun.
But favourite question for me, I liked the completely not just what's your favourite, this, that, the other. You know, everyone can answer that their favourite levels or favourite game.
Right.
And although it's interesting getting other people's opinions, and people do vary quite a lot, especially now there's so many games, the silly questions are the ones that I thought that were the most fun. So spin-off game. The last kind of category that I can think of is like a sim game. So you could have like Lara's Mansion Builder or The Sims, where she walks around it and you can, you know, invite people over and then lock them in a room.
It would be really cool if it like The Sims, but like you're Lara Croft, and then like she's trying to lead this normal pedestrian sort of life, but accidentally keeps on killing everybody, like she does in the games, drowning them in her swimming pool, setting them on fire in the fireplace.
Yeah, or trying to get in the hot tub,
or locking the butler in the freezer.
Yeah, that would have to go in. Cheat code, that was a great one.
There's a cheat that grabbed my attention in Anniversary. Sunglasses. So you can wear your sunglasses at night all day long. Well, it didn't make sense. I wear my sunglasses at night.
Brilliant.
But this made me think of a create your own Tomb Raider cheat mode. So like you could play as your own character, or even create yourself. So it'd be like in the Sims or in like WWE SmackDown game.
Tony Hawk's. That would be amazing. That would be fun. That's awesome. But the top one for me was our would you rather quiz. So it was just fun setting the questions, and it was fun answering them. And I definitely think that, you know, people should have a go at those questions. Comment on any other funny ones you've got, and I'd like to do that again sometime.
It's fun writing the questions. That's interesting that you hit on that, because I was trying to go for ones where it would be like it would leave you like really torn and unable to sort of decide which side of the coin you'd be on.
Ooh, that is tough. Ooh, that's tricky. That's toughy. Okay. Well, that's a tricky one. Yeah, absolutely. That's a very good point that I hadn't thought of. Oh, that is a good question. Okay, so. And what about you? What was your favourite question if you had to pick one?
Music. I could just delve into the music of Tomb Raider forever. That's got to be it. That's got to be it. But there was some good chats, and like the chat and going through the outfits was cool too. Now, how about your favourite? What do you think you're going to go for? For me, it's got to be one of these Antarctica looks. Maybe the reimagined. This one, I think. Yeah, that is good. I like how it works in the environment as well. I think for me, I'll have to stick with the Area 51. I've mentioned it a couple of times while we've looked down this list, and so it's clearly a standout for me. And I'll probably stick with the classic Tomb Raider 3, because I love that Tomb Raider Go outfit. They kind of highlight it well, but yeah, I'll stick with Tomb Raider 3, I think. Nevada camo. Just like the kind of colours, I guess, of the blue camo.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Is that something you think you'd wear yourself?
I might have to get some now, yeah. Yeah. Something that I didn't really think about in that much detail because it's something that isn't high on my priority list in the games. But yeah, going down the website, looking at each game, it made me kind of appreciate it a bit more. Like I mentioned at the start, which is why the question of the week is my favourite section.
We will have our question of the week in a bit, and we will be looking to name our top moments of the season, and perhaps our worst moments of the season as well, or of the game. But first up, we are going to have our Tomb Raider Spotlight, where we shine a light on a Tomb Raider creator, and it's going to be Steve of Warr. We're taking a look at his Angel of Darkness retrospective. Okay, this is our Tomb Raider Spotlight on Steve of Warr's AOD retrospective. We've been fans of his stuff before. This one, I think I watched when it first came out and was mostly just paying attention to the chat and who was in it, and that was exciting to see other Tomb Raider creators in there. But we just rewatched it just for the fun of it, and here are going to be some of our thoughts and why we love him. Like, I personally, I love the way he cuts and edits his sort of story recital with choice clips that really well illustrate the plot points, platforming, analysis, whatever he's going on in his script, telling us about the game.
The next few rooms have you fighting these weird creatures that are the results of Fulton Greenwall's experiments. One room has you fighting a bunch of plant creatures as well as some plant-human hybrids. Another room has you navigating across to the other side whilst trying to avoid dropping into this pool of water here with this massive sea beast inside of it, which no matter how many bullets I tried plugging into the damn thing didn't seem to want to die. And then next you're confronted by two gigantic tree roots which are blocking the exits, which you then have to work out how to kill by turning certain knobs in a certain order to release gas to poison it, and it's incredibly easy to work out. Hashtag big brain. Then once you're finally past all of that, you enter the main chamber, which is kind of like a gigantic greenhouse of sorts. There are multiple ladders to climb, walkways to navigate across, and multiple guards patrolling the area who you have to kill to steal keycards from to gain access to the main facility. Once you make it through to the end, you blow up a boiler to allow you access into the Louvre, and from here on you're sneaking past all the guards and dodging lasers like you're reenacting the movie Entrapment or something. And by sneaking, I mean using the stealth mechanics for about 2 minutes before stumbling into a guard, start to panic, and then shoot him dead with the unsilenced weapon that you have equipped because it's the only thing that you have, and then you realise that you can run around the whole level killing them without any negative consequence.
What do you find is some of the best things about this video, Nick?
I think he's got great attention to detail, and he can really sum up well what we all feel when we play those games. So the movements, the way he described the tank controls, the switching between shooting and movement.
Oh fuck. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Tank controls? Really? They just couldn't bring themselves to get rid of them, could they? Look, I can deal with classic tank controls fine enough. In fact, I think it's the best way to play this game as opposed to the camera directional controls found in the PS2 version. But I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't disappointed that they didn't go with a control scheme similar to what would end up being used in Tomb Raider Legend. You know, a full 360-degree analog stick movement control scheme with a fully rotating camera.
And just those bits in the game that you may gloss over first time, but when you do a retrospective and you think about them, they're funny or odd or don't make sense. And I really liked him picking up on the conversation she had with the trading guy with where she starts talking about his wristwatch for no reason.
I still don't know to this day why Lara really wants his watch, like, really badly.
Hey lady, keep away from the ring.
Nice watch.
What?
Am I talking too fast for you?
Okay, sister, you're leaving now.
So I ended up betting on a boxing match and winning his watch, which I still had in my inventory by the time that the credits rolled. What the fuck do I need this for? I don't need a bloody watch. I have a Timex, for Christ's sake.
It's really funny, but perhaps missed the first time.
The way he does that, it's cool because it makes me feel like I've also played the game even though I haven't. So it's like a game I kind of want to play but I don't want to, and then like I've watched this and then that feels like I get it. Also, I think he was absolutely spot on with his review of the voice acting.
The voice acting for Lara by Joe Noel Elliott is pretty solid and easily one of my favourite interpretations of the character, but the rest of the cast's performances range from okay to just legendarily bizarre.
Yeah, so obviously we didn't play the game, and we did the DVD action adventure It's For Everyone game. But I thought that actually rewatching the retrospective, it was quite interesting that so much of that actually applied to the DVD game as well. Not just the storyline bits, but some of the gameplay, if you can call it that, for the DVD game as well. So I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah, I always like it when you see somebody else who has a sort of similar experience to you. One of the things that I liked from this video was how he shares my love of the music in this game.
And oh my god, the music is just fantastic. I've not really had a chance to talk about Peter Connolly's work on the series, as the previous two games didn't really give him much room to shine in my opinion, but oh boy howdy does he shine bright here.
And also Steve really appreciates the game's aesthetics, which is something I sometimes make us stop and have a look at while we're exploring through the DVD game.
Wow. Okay, I was not expecting it to look this good. I'm not sure if it's because I've spent the last month/couple of years playing the PlayStation 1 titles, but I have to say that this game was the first game in a long time to give me that wow factor with its tunes. The textures, the lighting, the verticality, the detailing are all great here, and I really enjoyed the puzzles here too.
Yeah, so Steve kind of almost calls it, maybe I'm paraphrasing, but a plot hole, how Lara's almost really angry, and it doesn't quite make sense. But I kind of feel that, you know, if it was real life and she went missing and Von Croy spent all that money and time looking for her like we see in Chronicles, she may still be angry with him, even though he has done that, and almost treated it like he didn't look for her because he didn't find her, like a psychological thing rather than a factual he didn't look for her thing.
Yeah, it also could be like a misunderstanding in that, like, if she was like rescued in the manner that we're told she is in the Amulet of Fire, which is like a storybook that covers the time between Tomb Raider 4 and 6, she might not have known that he was looking for her because he wasn't successful.
Yeah, that's plausible, definitely. And if they didn't speak afterwards, or if she was angry and didn't contact him, then she would never know. Yeah. The bit that really did it for me was right at the beginning section of the game in Paris streets, where he like runs down in a little doorway, picks up something, and then just walked backwards, and she's like reversing like a truck.
Takes you out of it, those sorts of things, like when the ragdoll sort of came in the deaths in like the LAU trilogy. Sometimes I was like, well, I don't feel like I'm controlling a real person, because it's sort of weird when they die, they flop over.
To be fair though, to get to the tank controls, you actually have to get the game working first. And obviously the game is infamous for being almost unplayable in sections. I think the funniest part was the missing texture.
What's funny about this scene is that they forgot to fix a bug that removed the texture for the painting that they're discussing, so it just looks like they're dramatically pointing at a blank wall.
When they're all sat around a table looking at, oh, is it an obscure painting or something is just missing, so they're like looking at a blank wall or an empty frame.
Yeah, for me, hearing him talk about like the controls, the RPG elements, how the story got lost along the way.
Every element of this game, from the controls to the story, the stealth to the stupid RPG mechanics, felt half-finished, which really let down the whole experience.
And seeing his battle with the Brother Obscura boss fight.
Oh boy. This fight is yet more proof that the combat controls in this game are complete arse. For starters, she moves way faster than your character can move, meaning it's impossible to get out of the way of her attacks without being harmed. Then, to make things worse, her projectiles are also difficult to avoid properly, and because you can't strafe around her and shoot, or jump and shoot, there is no way to fight back without leaving yourself totally vulnerable. But perhaps the cherry on this shit sundae is that she has multiple weak points that you have to take out in order to properly defeat her. But of course, in true Angel of Dark fashion, when they become active, the game doesn't auto-target them for you, so instead you have to know to press a button to switch targets, and that multiple targets are now available to shoot.
Just makes me glad that we didn't play the PS2 version. I'd probably, still be here, grinding on it, not able to do it if we hadn't done the game for everyone, so to speak.
So, as always, Steve manages to present in his own style and bring his own humour in. I like the bit at the beginning where there's a riding the motorbike, and I'm pretty sure that's him riding it, which is
Totally
great.
It has to be. The way he set himself up in the frame of that, the way he set himself up in the frame of that shot was really nice as well, the shadow.
Definitely. And just, picking up and adding almost his own kind of memes, if you will, where he's picking up the item that looks a bit like a Yorkie bar.
Yorkie bar and...
Or the Mona Lisa, where it changes graphics, and the Japanese version of the game.
Oh, I see what the problem is. I put the Japanese copy in instead.
So appreciate that.
Those are all really funny bits. Some of my favourites were the Arnie impression.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your obscure paintings.
And he does a great Arnie impression. The side-by-side Predator comparison. And his nicknames for all the sort of secondary baddie characters, including Detective Thomas Luddick.
You've got Ian McNeice from Ace Ventura 2, a Tim Burton character, and the bad guy from Die Hard 2, whilst we wait for LA Noir Super Mario.
All right. So that was our take on Stephen Paul's AOD Retrospective. All right.
End section.
End section. It is now time for our question of the week, which, if you've been listening, you should already know that we're going to be looking at our highlight of the season. That is our question of the week. What has been your highlight of the season? We want to leave things on a high, so we're actually going to answer what's been your low light of the season first. There we go. There have been some lows, and there is no escaping just how buggy this game can be. You've experienced no crosshairs.
We're going to go for it, aren't we?
We're going to go for it, and we might have to do quick inputs. And by quick, I mean not that quick. Right, use arrow keys.
So move the crosshairs and then press OK to fire.
Well, I haven't got any crosshairs, which is tricky. I got shot.
You've experienced no options.
Okay. And then I'm back in front of the desk. Pick up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which way is that? Left, yeah. Sorry, the text doesn't always appear.
I'll take.
We've had skipping cutscenes.
This is going to be tricky. When you watch this back, you'll see how skippy my DVD is.
No.
It'll cost you.
Okay, I'm in. Who's that?
That's Eckhart.
Quick
He's
cut
the
there.
mafia top.
Skipping legs.
Sneaky, sneaky.
Did Lara adjust her feet a bit behind him?
Yeah.
We've been split up.
Okay, left or right? Timer.
Left.
Oh, I've gone right. I was running out of time. I have a gas mask, so I don't know what's happened to you.
You game over. You just crumpled at the floor again. All right, I'll catch up to you.
We've been sent back.
My DVD just glitched me back.
Oh no! So you're still one side of the pit.
Yeah, I pressed up to hang and move, and it jumps back to jumping me in the pit.
Oh no!
And there's been instances where it's not remembered the last save.
It looks a bit like, is it Aurora Borealis?
I have just skipped back to the previous level, so I'm gonna have to join you in a minute.
Okay.
It's been a lot.
Don't have to put yourself through that. You can just play the DVD game and get the story from that.
So Nick,
Yes.
what has been your overall low light of the season? What's been bad for you? What's been
I've enjoyed nearly all of it. The discussions particularly been great fun. But the bugginess has just been the only kind of sticking point in sullying the enjoyment a tiny amount. The bug-free DVD game.
Well, ish.
Kind of.
Ish.
So I think there was one moment that that I found quite frustrating while we were playing that does stand out to me, and that was in the kind of underwater lab level towards the end of the game, and there was a kind of micro puzzle where you had to move the bucket, and the eventual goal was to feed the big sea monster. But we did it, and there was a 5-10 second cutscene, and then we realised, oh, okay, we've got to fill it up, and it doesn't just reset it, even though obviously it cuts out huge chunks of platforming and interesting parts of the level, as we've already talked about today. But it makes you watch this bit again.
Yeah, and we knew it was going to do it, so that sort of added to the frustration. We were like, okay, we'll see how long this takes.
But my real worst moment, I can't get past those bugs. I've enjoyed all of the game and our discussions we have each week, but the only thing which slightly mars that is the bugs in the game. This is and I died. So.
All right then.
I need to get.
So mine was just flashing really fast.
So it flashes really fast like 3 times and doesn't for a while and then does again. It's on like a cycle. You have to hit it at the right time.
So when do you do it? When it's flashing or not flashing?
And it is flashing yellow.
Okay. So jump, flash. No. I'd much rather press forward than square.
I'm using like the directional things on my keyboard.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing as well, unfortunately.
Oh really?
So it's also going up.
So what? Found a video game where I'm better than you at it. It's not really a video game though, is it? It's not really a win.
I think this is just janky. Like honestly, the lasers are at the bottom. It was flashing.
I know
you need to get through the security. I'm going ahead just to see what happens. No, you die straight away. And most notably, so the worst one for me was when it was shooting me back to the beginning of the level, on the final level, and I thought that we'd gone through, weeks of this and chapter 20, and I wasn't going to get to see the end properly. I even contemplated going, I'll watch a YouTube of it and not completing it for myself. Luckily, obviously I was able to get through, but that was partly to do with where it was in the game right at the end. But that was definitely my worst moment.
I'm glad we've been able to get through the game together, just about, and enjoy like having some Tomb Raider chats as well. Like that's been awesome, and it's really nice to be past it now. We can just have this chilled out, relaxed evening where we're watching Steve of Warr and just enjoying it from like a spectator standpoint.
So that was mine. What about you? What was your low light of the series?
Well, first of all, shout out to Janice's haircut.
It's like a helmet over a swim cap.
Yes. But the most awful thing in the Tomb Raider, the action adventure DVD game, the game for everyone, for me, is the hot dog fingers. You knew it would be. You knew it would be sausage fingers.
Gotta love her hot dog fingers.
Yeah.
Just like in Tomb Raider 3. A couple of questions about this guy. What's up with his fingers? Sausage fingers again.
The
fingers freak me out in this game. Oh, those sausage fingers. Completely square. Once again, the scariest thing in this game is the hands.
Yeah, the graphic capabilities weren't the best on the hand animations.
I don't know what.
Oh, those hands.
But I'd watch my rear on the streets.
I think I've touched on it many a time, those sausage fingers. Ooh.
Yeah, you made a point that Beck Williams was better at it than the AOD stuff at the time.
Didn't they have funky feet on this as well, like cheese block feet?
On to the highlights, the question of the week that we've really been wanting to do. For me, I thought it would be a bit mean to pick when you were struggling for confidence in the loot galleries.
I'm up for playing it safe at the moment.
Has your confidence been knocked? Okay.
So I've decided to go for one of Lara's badass moments, of which there have been many.
One's a bit pleading and one's a bit more aggressive. Which line are we taking? Badass Lara?
I know you want to do that. Okay, let's do that. I suggest you give it to me now.
Now.
Then I suggest you give it to me now.
Oh. You say you don't remember clearly what happened. Perhaps the police are right in suspecting you.
I never killed Werner.
I think you better leave, Miss Croft.
What about the
Oh,
gun? Right, we're done. But if this doesn't work out, Bernard, I know where to find you.
She's so rude to everyone.
Yeah, quite threatening.
Now I'm wanted for his murder.
Yes, the academic wanted access to recent archaeological diggings.
Says that like such a badass.
Not very feminist. It's only men that could do that job.
I have to get certain things into his hands. Passports. You could deliver them for me.
Why not have one of your men deliver your passports?
Have no one to spare.
Okay, deal.
Well, Lara's come along and blown him out the water there, hasn't he?
Lara always kicks ass, doesn't she? Props to Jonelle Elliott for doing the voiceover in Angel of Darkness. She killed it.
Jump over the pit or go back. I'll go back in real life.
Yeah.
This wallet might be useful.
That's so harsh.
She just I can't imagine ever doing that. Oh, there's a dead body. What should I do?
Steal the wallet.
This could be useful.
I think we got to shoot him. From behind, that's a bit harsh.
I think maybe going aggressive is the way to go.
All right, we can do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Is that it? Is that all you've got?
For what you're paying, you've got plenty. But I have expenses.
Get me that code, or else.
Or else what? You're gonna shoot me?
Now there's an idea worth paying for.
Not here, not out in the open, right by a police crime scene. I don't think so.
Love it.
But my favourite moment was back, I think in the first episode, just that brutal shooting and how it shocked us.
Oh, that's the tricky one. I've got a feeling we're supposed to go stealth, but I kind of want to shoot him.
Shoot.
Yeah, okay. Maybe we'll go stealth next time.
That was quite brutal.
Definitely, that one needs stand out. Actually, just what was it? Stealth, takedown, or shoot, and we just went for that, and it was brutal.
I think that sort of set the tone and encouraged me when we were making selections to go for like the crazy, the aggressive statements, you know, and that sort of brought more fun out of the game. Like, whereas normally, I guess if I was playing sort of more as myself, I'd try and be kind of polite to everyone, but it's fun being the badass guy or girl in this case, isn't it? What would you say has been your highlight of the season, then, Nick?
Yeah, so I think what I enjoyed most about the DVD board game for everyone was the puzzle sections. Now, I mentioned before that they are fairly basic, and I would definitely have preferred them to be more intricate and involved. But I still, those moments still stand out to me, as they are quite interactive and not just a quick time event. You had time to actually kind of search somewhere. You kind of knew what you had to do, and although basic, I thought they were a good aspect of the game.
Brilliant. So there you have it. That's been our chilled, laid back look back on our series of the Angel of Darkness DVD game, the game for everyone. Hope you've enjoyed watching us play it and chatting about some of the Tomb Raider questions and spotlights that we've handed out along the way. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time. That was cool. That's been relaxing. Like,
yeah,
it's nice to have everything sorted before, you know, coming and doing it with you. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching the show, and thank you for watching the series. Peace out, I guess. Oh, and Nick, thank you very much for doing the game with me. Like, we've been playing it for so many weeks. It's been awesome.
Yeah, no, it was great fun, and it was nice to experience AOD. I will get around to playing the game at some point, but this means that I don't have to do it just yet.
Yeah, we've got the audio book from J.R. Millward to tide us over. Chilled. Oh, that's such a coarse tongue. It's really.
It's like hairy.
Yeah, it's weird.
More hairy than its body. Oh, okay, yeah.